Welcome to Unit 8, Leading Effective Multicultural Project Teams. Today's organizational and project environment is very diverse. As project managers, we need to develop knowledge, skills, and abilities to manage multicultural teams across many different environments. This unit focuses on developing this understanding by initially focusing on some challenges that may face project managers, along with offering opportunities and strategies to assist in effective management of multicultural project teams. After completing this unit, you will be able to understand differences and challenges to be mindful of when managing multicultural teams, explain the factors that may influence multicultural team performance, identify strategies that may be leveraged to effectively manage multicultural teams, and finally, you will be able to interpret the stages of cultural maturity that a team may exhibit. Multicultural team differences include differences in relationships between people based on cultural attributes such as individualism and collectivism. Differences related to motivation orientation, such as the way a society may cope with uncertainty. Different attitudes toward time based on long-term versus short-term orientation. Different attributes related to internal and external control, where culture believes that it controls its environment or that it works with it. Finally, different social, cultural dimensions such as paternalism and fatalism. In a paternalistic relationship, a leader tries to provide protection, nurturing, and guidance. In a fatalistic culture, the belief is that it's not possible to control the outcomes of a person's actions. Some multicultural team challenges include communications differences, differences with accents and fluency, differing attitudes toward hierarchy and authority, and different norms related to decision making. Communication differences can present a significant challenge for multicultural teams. Communication in Western cultures is typically direct and explicit, while other cultures take on an indirect approach toward communication. Research indicates that communication challenges can create barriers to effective teamwork by reducing information sharing, creating interpersonal conflict, or both. Often misunderstandings or deep frustration may occur because of non-native speakers' accents, lack of fluency, or problems with translation or usage. A challenge inherent in multicultural teamwork is that by design, teams have a rather flat structure. But team members from some cultures are uncomfortable on flat teams and may defer to higher status team members. Finally, teams can experience conflicting norms related to decision making. Cultures differ significantly related to how quickly decisions should be made and how much analysis is required. Now let's look at some potential factors or pitfalls that may influence multicultural team performances. Language differences and associated cultural differences are an obvious obstacle to communication. Leadership approach and style preferences may vary widely on multicultural teams. Being mindful of these style preferences is important when managing a multicultural project team. Multicultural or cross-cultural trust depends on good interpersonal skills and mutual respect across the project team. As mentioned previously, most project teams are relatively flat in structure. Some cultures may need to have a hierarchy established and communicated so they can best understand how the team is to be managed and led. Finally, time zone differences can be a potential pitfall to avoid. When time zones differ, setting up a schedule that's fair to the majority of team members is important. Strategies for use in meeting multicultural team challenges include adaptation, structural intervention, managerial intervention, and exit. Adaptation relates to finding ways to work with or around the challenge that may face a team without making changes to the group's membership or assignments. Structural intervention refers to the deliberate reorganization or reassignment designed to reduce interpersonal friction or to remove a source of conflict for one or more teams or groups. Managerial intervention refers to a situation where the manager must play the role of arbitrator, thus making the final decision without team involvement. In this case, neither the manager nor the team learns why they have stalemated. It is, however, possible for team members to use managerial intervention to sort out problems. Finally, the exit strategy refers to a situation where unhappy team members just leave the team. This strategy is used infrequently to address managerial challenges. The dream team approach may be leveraged to establish a new multicultural team. When using this approach, expectations are established to build a solid team foundation. Establishing expectations is one of the most important steps for project managers to establish a new team. Failure to establish this foundation will hinder the group's ability to develop effective and efficient practices. It will set the stage for frequent areas or potential for conflict. And it will make the job of the project manager much harder than it needs to be. Once expectations are established, the project manager must create a culture of reward and recognition. Recognition is often overlooked as one of the responsibilities of a project manager. However, for a project manager who has relatively little direct authority over team members, recognition can be an invaluable tool. Next, the team must embrace diversity and inclusion. This can be best accomplished through open discussion early in the project's planning cycle or stages. Topics for these discussions should include similarities and differences of team members and team cultures. Advance is the next step, referring to advancing team capabilities. In addition to diversity understanding, the project manager is responsible for providing the team with the necessary tools and information needed to respond to project demands. finally, the project manager must motivate and manage the team throughout the project life cycle. This cultural maturity model plots the concern for the culture of others against the concern for a person's own culture. This multicultural project team develops in maturity. We can expect to see more capability in managing cultural differences. In this regard, differing views can fuse or blend the strength of one cultural dimension by considering the other. These changes provide a way for describing the evolution of maturity of management of cultural differences in a project team and how well the project team is coping with these differences. The following references were leveraged for use in developing this presentation.